Hi everyone, I'm Stu.
I'm Sarah. Welcome back to the 350 bird challenge.
In this video, we're going to try and chase down some of those last few warblers that we still need. Despite how it looks, believe it or not, it's summer. Let's do some summer birding. Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, we're going to be spending some time in Eastern Ontario, not too far from Perth. We're actually in Murphy's Point Provincial Park on one of the trails. In our last video, we said we might go camping here, but that hasn't worked out. As you can see, it's not looking too great. It's overcast. We've just had a thunderstorm roll through, so we've skipped out on the camping and we're staying in hotels, but we're still going to try and do some birding. Sarah, what's the name of this specific trail?
So we are starting on the Lally Homestead Trail.
We've had a few bird reports here, right?
Yeah, so there have been reports of the Golden-winged Warbler as well as yellow-billed cuckoo.
Golden-winged Warbler is one that we've tried for several times in the last few weeks. Let's see if we can get it this time. We haven't heard it yet, but we do hear plenty of birds. Despite the thunderstorm that rolled through, it is still quite birdy. Let's go take a look. Despite the rain putting a stop to our camping plans, we decided to still travel to Murphy's Point Provincial Park in Eastern Ontario, located a couple of hours south of Ottawa. To the southwest, towards Kingston, you can find Frontenac Provincial Park, and we're going to be visiting there later in this video. In the meantime, let's take a look around this meadow on the Lally Homestead Trail. Orchestrating the song along the trail, a brown thrasher, a bird considered to have one of the largest repertoires of song phrases in North America. We're into late June now, with the grasslands painted in the vivid blues of Viper's bugloss. Once introduced, it's now fully naturalised in Ontario, and for pollinators like bees and butterflies, its nectar is hard to resist, rich in sugars, easy to reach, and offered up in abundant blooms throughout the summer. Another mimic bird in the same family as the brown thrasher, this catbird kept quiet, maybe feeling a little outperformed by its cousin. Good looks at this neat bird, the cedar waxwing. Such cool facial markings. The black mask makes it look like a superhero, and it's nicely highlighted with a line of white around it. We've just heard the Golden-winged Warbler sing twice. It's quite a buzzy song. But after hearing it twice, we don't hear it again. Yellow warblers, common yellowthroats. We hear a wood thrush in the distance with its quite nice song. But all those are birds we've got. Where's the golden-winged? The Golden-winged Warbler was our top target, and we kept hearing it in this tree line, but it wouldn't come out. The trees were quite distant too, but we could just about make out this song sparrow. A common yellowthroat too took to higher position in the same area. And annoyingly, while I filmed this downy woodpecker, the golden-winged briefly popped out, but I missed it. And then it went quiet. It felt like it was gonna be one of those days where we struck out. After waiting 15 minutes, it emerged again. Gorgeous. The Golden-winged Warbler is a treasure of Ontario's wild edges, a flash of gold and black where forest gives way to meadow. Males wear their colours boldly, a striking mask and throat offset by brilliant wings, yet behind that brilliance lies fragility. The tangled young habitats that golden-winged warblers depend on are vanishing, and with 80% of Canadian golden-wings nesting here in Ontario, we hold their fate in our hands. To make matters harder for the golden-winged warbler, their close cousin, the blue-winged warbler, has pushed north with the warming climate. In our last video, we talked about how these two species readily interbreed. This hybridization leaves the long-term future of this bright little golden-winged warbler hanging in the balance. Moving on from the meadow, the trail enters the tree line, thick with leaf at this time of year. This is a blue dasher, named for the vibrant blue colour of the abdomen on males. This female is more yellow and black in colour. It's a common species throughout North America, with a range expanding northwards up about as far as Lake Superior. And while we're looking at Ordinata, this is a common damselfly in the east called a fragile forktail. Look closely behind where the head joins the body, and you'll see a green stripe with a dot. It kind of looks like an exclamation mark, and that's a pretty good field marking to identify this species. All of these insects that hunt over the water meant that it wasn't a surprise to exit the woods and come to a marsh, the shore lined with the outcrops of rock from the rugged Canadian Shield. The trail's just come out on this nice marsh behind us. A couple of great blue herons flew away without much encouragement, but there's some nice wood ducklings out there too. After the short stretch of marsh, the trail turns back through the woods and into a meadow again. Tread carefully. We saw a few more birds, this northern flicker, an indigo bunting, eastern phoebe, and several other species, including a brown-headed cowbird perched on the remains of an old stone building as we completed the trail loop. We'll cross the road in a moment and check out another interesting trail. Okay guys, we've come to a different trail now, Sarah.
So we've come across the street to the Silver Queen Mine Trail.
We've also decoated, the sun has started to come out, so that's nice, after starting in the rain. It doesn't sound too birdy. We've heard ovenbird, yellow warbler, a few other common species. We've seen a few cool insects too, little wood satire butterfly, a comma or a question mark. I couldn't see the telltale symbol that's underneath the wing that tells you what species it is. Really big for a garter snake. A garter snake went across the trail in front of us, but yeah, not too many birds and certainly no new ones, but we'll proceed further along the trail for a bit. American redstarts were plentiful throughout the wooded canopy. Their song filled the trees. Most of what we saw were the birds you hear singing throughout the summer, red-eyed vireo, ovenbird, eastern phoebe, but the trail is also known for an old abandoned mica mine.
So we're standing just outside of the mica mine. So this is a side drift which is allowing cool air out. It is filled with water now, but at the time it was a way of blasting into the rock. So the mica was used for electrical components and in lanterns and various uses in the early 1900s.
You can see the mica that's left behind sparkling on the ground. Sarah and I took a quick rest after the mine and watched the clouds go by before turning back. You wait all year for a golden-winged warbler and then two come along. Okay folks, we are on our way back out of this trail now and we're not too far from the parking lot where we started, so of course that's where all the birds are. A few different ones than there were on our way in. We're hearing a couple of eastern towies, just heard a field sparrow, and guess what? Just saw another golden-winged warbler, so that's two for the day, and we probably hear a pair of them calling to each other, but slightly similar views, maybe a little bit closer this time, but yeah, golden-winged warbler, cool bird. With a little spare time left in the afternoon, we travelled just a little bit to the north to a new location. Okay Sarah, where have we come to next?
We're at Perth Wildlife Reserve.
We're going to take a quick look here, but to be honest with you, we're getting eaten alive by the insects, mosquitoes and such. We're going to probably walk down about as far as the river, see if there's anything here for us, but if not, we're going to carry on with this video tomorrow morning. Tomorrow we're going to look for Cerulean Warbler. It's a bit of a long shot, but it'll be a great one to find. It would be our lifer for Sarah. I did see it many years ago. Sarah's life list and my life list are very similar, maybe one or two differences. That's one of the differences, so it'd be good to get Sarah very close to having the same life list as me going forward. Anyway, in the meantime, we'll see if we can find anything here. Perth Wildlife Reserve. Let's take a quick look, but it's mostly catbirds and robins and stuff. Let's see if we can find anything else. We spotted a few birds, like this sapsucker, between the insect bites, the heavy leaf cover, and the humidity. And a yellow warbler too, but not a great deal of note. After wading through the bugs for 10 minutes or so, we reached panoramic views of Tay River and marsh. And it was after the river that things picked up a little bit.
Grosbeak.
This male rose-breasted grosbeak was plucking berries. And a female wasn't too far away either. As well as birds, there were an array of snakes, frogs, and insects around, including this cool but small eastern milk snake. We passed through some woods as the trail circled back, spotting a few wood nymph-type butterflies. This one, with all of those eye spots, is a northern pearly eye. Well, we walked for about an hour and a half and we didn't find any new birds, but we did see a couple of nice ones. Always nice to see a male grosbeak. It's that time of year where a lot of birds are nesting, a lot of them have gone further north. There's a lot of leaf cover, so it's hard to find the ones that are here. So we've had an embarrassment of riches in the last few videos, what with Arizona and then the May migration in Ontario and everything. We've been pretty spoiled. Things will get a little bit slower. Hope you'll stick with us. It does mean we have to focus on 1 or 2 birds per trip. And speaking of which, we already mentioned, hopefully Cerulean Warbler tomorrow. That's our target bird, but any new ones will be great. Things will start picking up again, kind of September time maybe. In the meantime, we have to try to hit as many of the birds that we still haven't got that we can. There's still a couple of warblers that are possible to get. There's flycatchers, a couple of flycatcher species maybe. Anyway, in the meantime, another quick break and we'll be back with tomorrow's footage. We hit the highway and spent the evening in Brockville, but stay tuned and tomorrow we'll visit a new provincial park. Good morning everyone and welcome back. We have travelled some way west towards kind of Kingston to Frontenac Provincial Park. Reports of Cerulean Warblers here. The trouble is we don't know exactly where and there's a ton of trails here. We have a limited amount of time, so we're just going to do a couple of the shorter trails perhaps. It's always a bit frustrating when you don't have internet access because the cell coverage isn't great in these areas because we can't really research too much. Having said that, we have listened to the sound of Cerulean Warbler, so we're kind of familiar with that. I've usually got a decent ear for that kind of thing. I think we'll need it with the amount of leaf cover and just the amount of expansive area we're going to be looking through. Hopefully we'll hear it and then we can kind of focus in and try and find it. We'll see if that happens. Sarah, which trail are we starting on?
So we're starting on Arab Lake Gorge Trail.
Might not be the best habitat, but we'll give it a try. We're looking for mature trees, kind of not too far away from fresh water, rivers, that kind of thing. So there's another trail we'll do afterwards which might be slightly better. In the meantime, let's take a look, see if we'll find any new birds of any kind. The trail begins through the woods and down a wooden staircase, then across a boardwalk spanning a marsh. This great blue heron seemed to be making the most of it. Cerulean warblers prefer old-growth deciduous forest, tall trees with large crowns for safer nesting, but much of this forest seemed quite young. We decided to continue along the trail anyway. Perhaps this habitat would improve, or maybe we'll find something else. A few common birds were visible in this more open area, starting with this great crested flycatcher, but let's just skip ahead to a new bird that we saw. We've just been continuing around the boardwalk and we heard a sound easily dismissed as a frog or maybe a woodpecker or something like that, but we've been listening out for cuckoos and we thought, that might have been one, and then we saw it up in some bare trees there. Yellow-billed cuckoo, new bird for the year, one that we weren't so sure that we'd get. It's not a Cerulean Warbler, but we'll take it. The yellow-billed cuckoo. This one is out in the open, lucky for us, because usually it's an elusive woodland inhabitant, often lingering high in the tree canopy, where it patiently gleans large, often hairy caterpillars from foliage. When tent caterpillars erupt in numbers, a single cuckoo might devour over 100 in one sitting, making them both stealthy and devastating predators in their arboreal realm. Exit the Arab Gorge Trail. It's time for another quick wander. Okay folks, we finished the Gorge Trail. No sound of any warblers apart from American redstart towards the end. We took a quick break over by the lake and we did hear pine warbler, got fairly good looks at that, but it's not a new bird, so we're going to do the Doe Lake Trail next. It's a little bit longer. We might not do all of it just because we are hearing birds, but predominantly red-eyed vireo, a few scarlet tanagers. We've seen a few other bits and pieces of downy woodpecker and nuthatch, that kind of thing, but nothing too extraordinary other than that cuckoo, which we got, and we're glad about that. But no warblers so far. Once again, the woods were perhaps not quite mature enough for Cerulean Warbler, but we continued as far as the lovely views over Doe Lake. There were a couple of common loons out on the water, and we sat and watched these iconic birds wearing their breeding plumage as they preened and bathed on the lake. Okay guys, we're a little bit of the way around Doe Lake Trail, but not sign of many birds really. We did just get nice looks at common loon in breeding plumage out on the lake, but not so much in the trees right now. What do you think, Sarah? Cerulean Warbler?
I think if we knew precisely where to look, this is definitely a good spot to find them, but we're more likely to find them during migration, when they're moving through, maybe a little bit lower, maybe a few more people out spotting. It's the time of year when, because birds are sitting on nests, they're less active, and therefore birders also tend to be less active, which means less reports to go on.
A lot more leaf cover at this time of the year too, so even when you hear stuff you're not necessarily able to get eyes on it. Too bad. It's a bird that I've seen before, but I'd really like Sarah to see it too. When I first moved over to Canada fairly early in my North American bird journey, I went on a guided walk at Tommy Thompson Park. It was a really good year for migration. I was with a guide and it was pretty much handed to me on a plate. The guy pointed it out to me. Didn't really know the importance of that bird at the time, but I certainly appreciate it now that we can't find it. Anyway guys, I think that's all we've got time for in this video. It's time for us to start heading home. We want to try and beat that cottage traffic on the way back. This video wasn't quite what I was hoping it would be, a camping trip, but with the weather and the amount of limited time we had, it turned into, well, this a little bit shorter than I hoped for, but things will start picking up again soon. In the meantime, please give this video a like. Please also leave us a comment, and any engagement really helps us to get the channel out there to new people. Sarah?
And if you haven't already, please subscribe, and after subscribing, select the bell for notifications when new videos are posted.
Thanks for watching guys, we'll see you again soon. Happy birding, bye for now.
Bye.